Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Navirusithan's World. And today we're still in Germany, except for the fact that this is the grand finale of the Germany series. And this is going to be the last. But don't worry, there is a surprise for you waiting in another few videos. There's going to be a surprise for you all. So don't worry about this series ending. And this is the hotel I stayed in. It's Hampton by Hilton. It's a really good hotel. Like, there was a doner kebab shop right over there, and a few miles from there was a really good complex which is full of food, which I really liked. And that hotel was great. I would definitely recommend it to you all if you were gonna go to Berlin, and this would be a great place to stay in. One thing that I liked a lot about the city is the great and many accessible options for all of the transportation in this amazing and beautiful city, which is really convenient, especially like there's like taxis or maybe like these kind of trains and stuff. Yeah, these are really nice. And the fact that the hotel is right behind the city center, which means that we can just walk like 5 minutes and we can reach the city center. And that finishes the intro about this video. So yeah, we're just basically going to be exploring the city with this one. So yeah, Berlin was first documented in the 13th century, around 1237, formed from the merging of two towns, Berlin and Cologne, located opposite sides of the river Spree. In the 15th century, Berlin became part of the Margrave of Brandenburg and later the Kingdom of Prussia in 1701, rising in political importance. Berlin became the capital in 1871 after the unification of Germany under Prussian leadership. And yeah, there was a big cultural boom when it was the Weimar Republic from 1919 to 1933. Berlin was a center of art, cinema, and progressive culture despite political instability, which is really nice for a city when they were literally unstable and having stuff, while all of the people are just passionate about one thing, which is art and cinema and stuff. And yeah, but here we come to the worst part of Germany's history, Nazi Germany. Berlin was the administrative center of Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler made it the core of it planned Wehrmacht to start Germany. The city suffered massive damage during World War II, especially during the Battle of Berlin in 1945, which led to Nazi Germany's surrender. After World War II, Berlin was divided into East-West Berlin, Soviet-controlled, and West Berlin, controlled by the US, UK, and France. Even though it was entirely within East Germany. The Berlin Wall was built in 1961 by the Soviet Union to prevent East Germans from fleeing to the West. It became a global symbol of Cold War division. But everything has to come to an end, and on November 9th, 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and leading to the eventual reunification of Germany in 1990. So yeah, let's come to the modern era now. Berlin became the capital of reunified Germany in 1991, replacing Bonn. And today Berlin, even though Berlin was really like an economically unstable country back in the day, all has changed in the modern era now. Berlin is known for its diverse population, startup scene, art culture, and historical sites like the Brandenburg Gate, Reichstag, Holocaust Memorial, and my favorite, Berlin TV Tower, which was my favorite part of going to the city. So, imagine hopping on a boat and going around the entire city of Berlin. Well, yeah, right now we just ended up at the Berlin Cathedral, also known as Berliner Dom, which many royal family members of Berlin have been buried in. And I don't know what to say, but just enjoy this absolutely breathtaking view of this cathedral. Like, I did all of my best and tried all of my everything to just shoot this just like this. So make sure you actually enjoy this. The Humboldt Forum is a museum dedicated to human history, art, culture, and it's located in the Berlin Palace on the Museum Island in the historic center of Berlin. It's named in honor of the Prussian scholars Wilhelm and Alexander von Humboldt. Considered the German equivalent of the British Museum, the Humboldt Forum houses the non-European collections of the Berlin State Museums. And also, wouldn't it be really good just to, hop on a boat, go through the Berlin city, and watch all of these historical sites one after each other? If a really, guided tour about almost everything, isn't that one of the best experience you will ever get in life? And also, just look at these architecture. Isn't it really retro on the outside, similar to the train station in Amsterdam? Yeah, also really, you know, looking really good on the inside. Like that's how the Germans actually used to do their architecture back in the day, which is really nice, and they still do it like this today. So this is actually something called the Neue Mastol, a historic building in Berlin, Germany, of course, located on the Schollplatz and the Spree River. It was completed in 1901 and designed in the neo-Baroque style by Ernest von Ehner. It was originally built as royal stables of the nearby Berlin Palace as well. And just your favorite part. Wow, just look at the city skyline. Like, absolutely great architecture. The weather's great. The nature is great. The environment's great around me. I'm on a cruise ship looking at all of this. This is almost like heaven in real life, isn't it? Berlin is the capital and largest city of Germany. In population, there are around 3.7 million people, making it the most populated city in the European Union, with city limits. Even though German is actually the official language of Berlin, it's not the most spoken because English is actually widely spoken, especially among younger people and in tourist areas, since many English tourists actually go to Berlin. There's some nice nature in Berlin, especially since it's one of the greenest cities in Europe. Yes, Berlin is one of the greenest cities in Europe with over 2,500 public parks. The Tiergarten is a central urban park similar in size to New York Central Park. There's also a river called the Spree River. The river Spree runs through Berlin, offering scenic boat rides and riverside bars. And there are some famous landmarks at Brandenburg Gate, which is a symbol of unity and peace. Reichstag building, which is the home of the German parliament. In its glass dome is a popular tourist attraction. And there's something which I told you all, which is my favorite. It is the TV tower, also known as Fernsehturm, one of the tallest structures in Europe, which offers panoramic views of the city. And the lifestyle in Berlin is affordable relatively, even if it's a capital city. It's actually really cheap compared to London or Paris. And there's lots of street foods as well, like currywurst or doner. Berlin has a strong Turkish influence, and it's home to the largest Turkish community outside of Turkey. And the fact that there's actually loads of places to explore in Berlin. Like, there's over 170 museums just in that one city of Berlin. In fact, there's even a place called Museum Island, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This cluster of 5 world-renowned museums, including the Pergamon Museum, is in the heart of Berlin. And there's also something called a street art capital. Berlin is famous for its illegal and somehow, which is actually illegal street art, with the East Side Gallery, a preserved portion of the Berlin Wall, being the most iconic example. There's something called an alternative scene as well, which is like neighborhoods like Kreuzberg and Neukölln are known for their vibrant and attractive and countercultural communities, often being compared to Brooklyn or Hackney. Berlin is a global hub for techno and electronic music. The legendary club Bargain is often referred to as the Cathedral of Techno. There's also more than 50 theaters and 3 major opera houses, more than any other city in the world. And there's something called the Berlinale, which is the Berlin International Film Festival, is one of the most prestigious film festivals globally. The city has been a long center of German literature, with figures like the Bertolt Brecht, Christa Wolf, and more recently Vladimir Kaimna associated with Berlin. The startup capital. It's also a startup capital, often called the Silicon Alley, because Berlin is the startup capital of Germany with thriving tech and creative economy, which is actually going to make me happy about this since I'm a technology guy as well. and it's a home to major universities like Humboldt University, Freie Universität Berlin, and it also has a rich tradition in philosophy and science. One of the things that I liked about the city a lot is that there's always a lot of greenery around, the people are really nice, the lakes are really good, and overall I just feel like I'm actually in a city for once. Like, I don't feel like I'm surrounded by concrete jungle and that I'm actually living on top of concrete. One of the things that I like about Berlin is, even though there's a lot of greenery, lot of lakes, lot of murals and stuff, there's also some really modernized buildings right on the side. Like, that's really good, and I also really like it. Remember last episode where I went to the boat museum? Oh yeah, but in this episode, somehow we're actually going past the boat museum on a boat. But it's also really nice to just see the entire structure of the boat museum and what's under it, the bridges on top and many things. Because last episode I only saw the actual museum on its own, and this is also the boat museum on close up. Okay, but if you want to know some facts about the boat museum, then you can always go and see the last video, the last episode, and then you could basically just learn a lot about this museum, just like I said in the other video. Remember when I was talking about Museum Island a few minutes ago? Yeah, well, we're actually now in the Museum Island, and this is actually Museum Sinsol, which is actually another museum. And of course, wherever you're in Berlin, you can always just see the Berlin TV tower. And also, just a few structures ago, we just saw the Berliner Dome. And it's also UNESCO World Heritage Site, just like I told you. And I'll just tell you all of the museums in Museum Island. Auschwitz Museum, Newest Museum, Alte National Gallery, Bode Museum, and also the Pergamon Museum. It's located on the Spree Island as well. So yeah, it's easy for you to go, and it's also a really nice place to go. And also, right after the ferry ended, I just landed in this big museum's outsides, and I was just enjoying the outside of the museum. In fact, I got so curious that I even went inside the museum to see what it's inside and what artifacts there are. But the thing is, I was way too curious while doing it, so I did not have time to record. Remember when I was telling you all about the Auschwitz Museum, one of the museums in Museum Island, Berlin? Well, yeah, we're just right outside the Auschwitz Museum right now, and in fact, this entire museum was just full of rocks, and I really liked it. This new classical building was designed by Karl Friedrich Schneckel, completed in 1830. It's considered a major work of German neoclassical architecture. Alright, so right after all of that knowledge gaining, that fun time on the ship, looking at all of the museums I visited, slash just normally looking at, I finally just decided to go on a walk around the city to just be like a local and then just look at the city skyline, go to some parks, and do some more stuff that were on my checklist. What is this university? Well, it's actually the Humboldt University of Berlin. Just looking at the statue of Alexander von Humboldt in front of the main building. Here are some key facts about the university. It was founded in 1810. It was one of the oldest universities in Berlin. It was established based on the principles of Wilhelm von Humboldt, emphasizing the unity of teaching and research. The university is ranked 84th in the latest World University Rankings by Times Higher Education magazine. There are over 171 programs available for international students, including bachelor's, master's, and diploma programs. The acceptance rate for international students is 18%. And there's also no tuition fees to study at the Humboldt University of Berlin, but students must pay a semester fee of 315 euros to cover expenses like travel and club fees. The main building is the Prince Heinrich Palais, a former royal residence. The university offers courses designed for international students, focusing on the history, culture, and society of Berlin and Germany, which are most are taught in English. Wow, okay, so this place is really nice. Like, I'm surrounded by museums, And then yeah, there are some rules and regulations of this museum, what this museum is going to be like, which I didn't understand because everything was in German. Okay. And then yeah, there was lots of buildings which were really nice, and the weather was great even in the evening. And overall the entire surroundings of me was really nice. Like I loved the view of the city, and I was just and I was even enjoying the walk all the way through the city. And I even saw a Euros 2024 thing because when I went there, the Euros was going on. So yeah, this entire city of Berlin was actually just a really hyped thing, and it was really beautiful on the outside. The lakes are good, the parks are good, everything is good there. And overall, I'm actually glad that I even got an experience to go to this place and experience what's in here, the museums and everything. I'm actually glad that I got the privilege of experiencing this. Okay, yeah. At this moment, it was just my realization that I had to just go back from Berlin all the way to the UK right the next day. So what I did was I just went to a big garden similar to the tulip gardens in Amsterdam, but those weren't just tulips, and I really liked the flower gardens, the sculptures, the waterfalls, and everything. Just when I was there. But even that time, I still had something in mind where I was gonna leave this place. So I wanted to enjoy it in the last few minutes I can. So yeah, these are the flowers that were in the flower garden, which I said I went to. It really looks good, especially when it's in the right angle of shooting. It looks like a 4K resolution video. And yep, bye Germany. Hope to see you next again. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. Make sure to like, share, comment, and also click on the bell button to stay updated to all my videos. And there's also a surprise coming, which is not too late. It's gonna come really soon. Anyways, bye everyone.